On a Tuesday afternoon last spring, a woman pulled her 2019 Toyota Camry Hybrid into my bay and told me she had already been to 3 different shops. The car was sluggish. Fuel economy had dropped noticeably. The engine seemed to run more than it should. One shop suggested a battery inspection. Another recommended replacing the hybrid inverter coolant pump. The third gave her an estimate for a software recalibration they could not fully explain. She had spent close to $400 just in diagnostic fees. Nobody had fixed anything. I asked her one question before I touched the car. "Have you ever pressed the EV button?" She looked at me like I had asked if she had ever read the owner's manual in Japanese. She said she did not even know what that button did. I told her to sit down, because what I was about to show her would make everything she had been through feel completely unnecessary. Today, I'm going to show you the one button hidden in plain sight on nearly every Toyota hybrid sold in the last decade, what it actually does, why pressing it correctly changes how your car behaves at a fundamental level, and why the vast majority of hybrid owners never use it the way it was designed to be used. By the end of this video, you will understand your hybrid in a way that most Toyota dealerships never bother to explain. And you will understand why that ignorance is quietly costing you fuel, battery longevity, and the kind of smooth, efficient driving that made you buy a hybrid in the first place. Let me start with a truth that surprises most people. A Toyota hybrid is not a passive system. It is not simply an engine with a battery attached. It is a decision-making machine. Every second you drive, the hybrid system control computer is making judgment calls. Should the motor drive the wheels right now, or the engine, or both? Should the battery be charging, discharging, or holding charge? Is regenerative braking appropriate here? Is the engine warm enough to contribute efficiently? Hundreds of micro-decisions per minute, all happening without any input from you. And that is exactly where the problem begins. The system is brilliant, but it is reactive. It responds to what you are doing right now and to what it has learned about how you drive over time. It does not know where you are going. It cannot see the traffic ahead. It cannot predict whether the next mile is uphill or downhill, so it makes educated guesses based on data. When those guesses are wrong, the engine kicks on at moments you do not expect, burns fuel you did not need to burn, and slowly trains the system toward habits that work against efficiency. This is what the EV button was designed to address. Almost nobody uses it correctly. The EV mode button exists on Toyota's full hybrid lineup, including the Camry Hybrid, Avalon Hybrid, RAV4 Hybrid, Highlander Hybrid, and several Lexus models that share the same hybrid architecture. On some models, it is labeled EV mode. On others, it appears as a small button near the gear selector or on the center console, sometimes easy to miss if you are not looking for it. On the latest generation models, it may appear within the drive mode screen rather than as a dedicated physical button. But the function is the same across the entire Toyota and Lexus hybrid family. Press it under the right conditions and the gasoline engine shuts off completely. The car moves entirely on electric power, silently, efficiently, with zero fuel consumption for as long as battery charge and speed conditions allow. That sounds simple. It is simple. But the application of it is where most hybrid owners leave enormous efficiency on the table. The system will not hold EV mode indefinitely on its own. It will not prioritize electric propulsion strategically. It will not conserve battery charge for the moments when electric drive matters most. That is your job. Pressing that button at the right moment, in the right situation, is the skill that separates a hybrid owner who averages 42 miles per gallon from one who averages 52. Here is what almost nobody explains about how the Toyota hybrid system actually manages its battery. The car is designed to keep the hybrid battery, which Toyota calls the drive battery, within a specific state of charge window. Not fully charged, not depleted, but hovering in the middle range. Toyota engineers designed it this way intentionally. Keeping the battery in a mid-range charge state extends its lifespan dramatically. It allows the system to both accept regenerative charging energy and deploy discharge power at any moment without stressing the cells. This is smart engineering, but it has a consequence that most drivers never consider. When your battery is sitting at mid-charge on the highway, the engine is occasionally running, not because you need combustion power, but because the system is managing that charge window. It runs the engine gently, charges the battery a little, then shuts off. Runs, charges, shuts off over and over. You can feel it if you pay attention. A faint vibration, a slight change in engine note, the fuel economy display dipping, then recovering. This is the hybrid doing its job, but it is not doing that job efficiently if you are in a situation where electric power alone would serve you perfectly. This is where the EV button becomes a strategic tool rather than a novelty. When you are in a parking structure searching for a space, you are moving slowly, stopping frequently, covering short distances. The gasoline engine has no business running in that environment. Pressing EV mode forces the system into pure electric operation for that entire sequence. Zero fuel consumption, zero engine wear, zero cold start inefficiency on short, low-speed movements. When you exit the structure and return to road speed, the system transitions back to hybrid operation naturally. When you are crawling through a school zone at 15 miles per hour for 2 blocks, press EV mode. When you are inching through a car wash, press EV mode. When you are pulling slowly out of a parking lot and merging into light traffic at 25 miles per hour, press EV mode and hold it through that transition. When you are on a residential street on a Sunday morning moving below 25 miles per hour, press EV mode and leave it engaged. In every one of those situations, the gasoline engine was going to kick on based on the system's default logic. Your manual intervention prevents that. Multiplied across a week, a month, a year of driving, those interventions add up to real fuel savings, reduced engine start cycles, and a car that stays in electric mode far more than it would on its own judgment. But there is a second layer almost nobody talks about. Using EV mode strategically also trains how you think about your battery charge state. Once you start pressing that button deliberately, you begin to notice when the battery is strong enough to support extended electric operation and when it is not. You start to understand that arriving at a low-speed zone with a strong battery charge is an advantage worth managing. That is when preconditioning your charge state becomes a conscious habit. The Toyota hybrid system will charge the battery more aggressively during deceleration and gentle braking through regenerative capture. If you know you are approaching a situation where EV mode will be useful, like a dense urban area, a slow neighborhood route, or a parking sequence, lifting off the throttle gently a mile or two before reaching that zone allows the regenerative system to build charge. You arrive with a stronger battery. You engage EV mode. You cover that low-speed segment on pure electricity. Then you rejoin higher-speed driving with the engine and hybrid system working together at their most efficient operating range. This is the loop that high-efficiency Toyota hybrid drivers understand and exploit. Charge on deceleration. Deploy on low-speed segments. Let the engine carry highway load where it operates most efficiently. Repeat. The fuel economy gains from this approach are not marginal. Drivers who learn this rhythm consistently report real-world economy that exceeds the EPA estimate rather than falling below it. That shortfall is where most hybrid owners actually end up, because they never learn to work with the system consciously. Now I want to address the question I hear every time I explain this to a hybrid owner. Is it bad for the battery to use EV mode frequently? This is a legitimate question, and the answer is actually the opposite of what most people expect. Using EV mode in the situations it was designed for is not hard on the battery. It is aligned with how the battery was engineered to be used. Toyota's nickel-metal hydride and lithium-ion hybrid battery packs are designed for repeated shallow discharge and recharge cycles. That is their natural operating profile. What damages hybrid batteries over time is the opposite: keeping the charge in a narrow band without using it, deep discharges from aggressive high-load driving, and most importantly, heat. The Toyota Hybrid battery thermal management system works best when the battery is cycling through its charge range regularly and gently. Using EV mode for short, low-speed segments is exactly that kind of gentle cycling. Toyota Hybrid batteries in well-maintained vehicles routinely last 200,000 miles and beyond. Taxi fleets in Japan running Toyota Hybrids have documented battery packs surviving past 300,000 kilometers with no degradation worth measuring. Those results do not happen by accident. They happen because the system is being used as intended, with regular engagement of all its operating modes, not just passive cruising where the computer manages everything without driver input. There is also a thermal benefit to strategic EV mode use that rarely gets discussed. Every cold start puts stress on the catalytic converter, the engine oil, the cylinder walls, and the exhaust system. In a conventional car, cold starts are unavoidable. In a Toyota Hybrid, the engine does not start until it is needed. Using EV mode in the early moments of a drive, before the engine has reached operating temperature, keeps the engine off during the period when cold start wear is highest. The engine starts warm, or at least warmer than it would have otherwise. The catalytic converter reaches operating temperature more slowly and with less shock. Oil circulation is already normalized before the engine begins contributing power. Over tens of thousands of starts across a vehicle's life, that difference accumulates into meaningfully lower wear rates. This is part of why Toyota Hybrids with 180,000 or 200,000 miles often have engine internals that look younger than conventional cars half their age. The engine simply does not experience as many cold starts because the electric system handles the first moments of every drive. Let me come back to the woman with the Camry Hybrid. After I explained all of this to her, we sat in the parking lot of my shop and I walked her through the button. I showed her exactly when to press it, how long to hold the mode in different scenarios, and how to read the energy monitor on her dashboard to understand what the system was doing in real time. She drove one lap around the block in EV mode, completely silent, engine off, electricity only. She came back with an expression I have seen dozens of times. The expression of someone who realizes they have been driving a sophisticated machine without ever understanding what it was capable of. The $400 she had already spent on diagnostics had bought her nothing. The information she got in that parking lot cost her zero, and the improvement she would experience for the remaining life of that vehicle would be measured in hundreds of gallons of fuel, reduced wear on an engine that would now run less, and a battery that would cycle the way it was designed to cycle rather than sitting passively while the default logic made conservative decisions on her behalf. This is what bothers me about how hybrids are sold and maintained. The technology is genuinely remarkable. Toyota's hybrid Synergy Drive is one of the most refined powertrains ever put in a mass-market vehicle. The engineering behind the power split device, the regenerative braking calibration, and the thermal management of the battery system are all world-class. But none of it reaches its potential if the driver treats the hybrid like a conventional car with a quiet engine. You bought a hybrid because efficiency mattered to you. Whether that was a financial decision, an environmental one, or simply because you liked the technology, the intention was there. But intention only pays off when it is paired with understanding. Understanding that EV mode is not a novelty feature. It is a precision instrument. Understanding that the energy monitor on your dashboard is not decoration. It is a real-time window into whether your hybrid system is operating the way it should. Understanding that you are not a passive passenger in a sophisticated vehicle. You are a participant in it. Press the button. Watch what happens. Notice the silence. Notice the smoothness. Notice the fuel consumption display dropping to 0 while you still move. Then start thinking about every low-speed moment in your day where that silence could be your default instead of the exception. Before you leave, tell me in the comments how long you have owned your Toyota Hybrid and whether you were already using EV mode or if this changed how you think about your car. If this video shifted something for you, subscribe, because the next one goes deeper into how Toyota's hybrid system makes decisions about engine load and how understanding that logic unlocks fuel economy. Most owners never realize they are leaving behind. The most expensive hybrid is not the one with the highest sticker price. It is the one whose best features were never used.